So let's introduce Paul Boulifard is our guest today. We're kind of going, I guess, backwards in this. Right?
Yeah.
It's clip
He
it or
can, he
however
can
we
make
wanna
all
do
that
it.
magic happen. Over
That's
there.
right. So Paul is our guest today. Paul is, how do we describe Paul Boulifard? Architect extraordinaire. So,
Okay. All right.
Just go on, continue.
Yeah. Please,
Sure
don't stop.
More about me. Thank you.
More
you very
about
much.
me.
That's
Keep
right.
talking about me.
So Paul and I started working together. God, I don't even know how. Shortly after I moved to Nashville. So
Yeah.
2015-ish.
I was going to say probably 2014 or 2015.
Yeah, right. That's we both moved to Nashville about the same time. So you were here already.
Yeah. I moved to Nashville in 2007.
Yeah, I had a couple of jobs that needed an architect. I was working with, I think, Constructor Ruth.
Yeah, so I was going to say we need to.
Y'all met through Ruth?
Yeah,
You
so
know
that
Ruth?
so it's, yeah,
Totally.
so what's really funny is that Ruth, like I've got a project that Ruth has, like we have I have a orbit with Ruth every once in a while, and so it's like she just came into. So if we say Ruth 3 times, she'll show up at the door.
That's right.
So, but yeah, so that was our job in Glasgow.
Was that the first one?
Yeah,
wasn't
I
it?
believe.
Which is now coming around
Yeah,
again.
they're coming around again.
I know,
Which
go
yeah.
figure.
So, but yeah,
Let's
that was
redo.
which was interesting because Ruth called me and was like, "Hey, heads up, there's a guy that's gonna call you." That's
this
gonna
guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
She's like, he needs help. He needs
help.
He needs help.
Yeah.
She's
And we're not
wrong.
talking about the design. It's just in general.
Mental health.
This guy needs help.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was our first opportunity to.
And we'll get into some of this conversation or topics in a little bit, but I'm hesitant working with a lot of architects because maybe I'm wrong
He's
in this
a little
case.
opinionated.
I can be a little. Okay,
Bitch.
I can be a little bitch.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's all good.
Okay.
Sure enough. So,
It's gonna be that kind of fun.
But admittedly, I'm a designer and I like things my way and whatever. And then I'm involving an architect in this, and I want to have a good conversation and a good
What's a conversation?
And not be where it's an architect thinks he's better than me. We're all trying to do the same together, and that's the mentality that a lot of architects is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
charge.
I have never worked with another architect that is not just a pure collaborator.
Ever once. That's right. So,
I mean, because architect in Latin means collaboration, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that's trust me, I have that. I understand that mantle well.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's we ended up connecting through Ruth's a structural engineer. So, but we went that job and went well. We started working on several more, and God, we've been working together now for 10, 11 years of,
and that was
here and there.
That was a job to really cut your teeth on. I mean, it wasn't just like, hey, we need a gazebo over here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that job is it
was
multi-story.
The pool itself was a large natural style. The pool spilled into the spa that spilled into a basin and had an underground pool in the basement of a pool house that you designed.
Mm-hmm.
And then it had an upper level of the pool house with slides that one slide went to the outdoor pool, one went to the indoor pool.
Yeah.
The waterfall in the middle flowed over into the main pool and then reverse flowed into the underground pool. From there, it was. I
mean, it's amazing what you can get for $60,000 these days.
Yeah, that's right. So,
$60,000. But yeah, and also connected to the house, and it
had an underground cave. That was your idea. Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, that was one of those things that I felt like, well, we're already subterranean, and there's this door that's over here on the side. Why don't we with the sport court that was over off to the side? So,
are they remodeling that job or?
No, he's bought a new house. He's just gonna. We're starting over.
Yeah.
Was he in Kentucky?
Yes, Glasgow, Kentucky.
Yeah.
So Brian Shirley.
Yep.
That's right. So
that's right. You told me about him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's one on the wall of shame.
The wall of shame.
I know, the wall of fame.
That's it right there. So that's which is a great photo.
Yeah.
So but yeah. So that's what kind of that was the snare that I fell in.
Yeah, good luck. You met me and you could never get away from me, I think is what it boiled down to at this point.
Yeah.
So
when did you first fall in love with architecture?
So if anybody kind of in my little world that hears this little story, I kind of attribute my mother to the interest with that, because she always, as I obviously, my mother was an X-ray technician. My dad was an engineer. So I lived in this house that had access to tools and all kinds of tinkerability of stuff. And so my mother said that she knew that I was going to be an architect when I would always ask for my peanut butter crackers with roofs on them.
With roofs.
Yes, not a top.
Yes,
but a roof. Like I called it a roof.
know that.
And so she that was her, that was her kind of the joke about that whole situation. And then I mean, obviously, I grew up in the 70s, early 80s, and Legos were a huge thing. And I was obviously fascinated with building and like tinkering and all that kind of stuff. I like to draw. And when I got to high school, I was interested. My dad would have all these technical drawings and was an engineer. So I kind of had this little bit of this penchant for all things mechanical and building. And, when I got to college, I had a unique experience that I didn't realize was a unique experience. So I went to college and kind of interacted with other people and kind of got to see people from a large cross-section of people. Well, my dad was from France. And so from age 5 on, we would go and spend a month or two in Paris.
Oh, wow.
And so I didn't know that was unique until I went to college, basically, because you're not really
Where did you grow up? I don't know.
In the Winston-Salem area, North Carolina. So, so kind of southeast, where we are. But, so that's where I was born. And that's where kind of basically I was raised. My mom was from Pennsylvania. My dad was from Paris. And so I had this kind of crazy experience of rural North Carolina, which we didn't live in Winston. And so I was, out in the woods, basically one thing. And then we would go and
hang out in Paris.
Yeah. And then by the time I was, this is
not the worst childhood, right there.
No.
Right.
But it was also early 80s, and Paris was super accessible at that point and safe. And I mean, I'd get my Metro pass. My parents would give me a Metro pass for the week, and then I was allowed to
And you were 8.
10, and it's 10, and they were like, "Hey, you can
to Italy and
well, they were basically we looked at a Metro map, and they're like, "Hey, these are the stops that you're not allowed to get off on.
Everywhere else, have fun."
Yeah, basically.
So helicopter parenting wasn't a thing in the 80s.
No helicopter.
Okay.
No, it was aircraft carrier.
Little different ballpark.
Yeah, aircraft carrier tucked away over to the side. But it was, that was a great experience. But I didn't realize that other kids didn't grow up that way until I was in college, and having.
Did you enjoy the architecture in Paris?
Yeah, I always kind of attribute it to the Eiffel Tower, right? I mean, you're standing underneath, we don't have one of those in Clemens, Winston-Salem area, you go that's you've never seen anything like that before, and so I kind of make that as the icon of what that is. I mean, it's also cathedrals and Notre Dame, Arc de Triomphe, and all these different places that we would kind of go and visit. And I kind of, looked at life that way. Like I was just kind of like, hey, these are amazing things, obviously amazing food, culture. I mean, and then when I got to college, I was like, holy cow, like this, wait a minute. I'm going to go back and look at that with different eyes next time.
And where did you go to college?
North Carolina State as an undergrad.
Okay. NC State.
So, which is in Raleigh, part of the Research Triangle Park. And, it was, I went there. So I also tell the story of like my drafting teacher in high school. I took a couple different drafting classes, and then we had architectural drafting. And so I was like, we got to design a house. We did a shed first, and then we did a house. And so, my drafting teacher, Doc Sugg, was the trainer for the football team. And I remember kind of asking him one day, I was like, hey, what do architects do? Like, how do you become an architect? And Doc Sugg was a great guy, but also very dismissive. And he was like, hey, there's 2 architecture schools in North Carolina, at UNC Charlotte, and the other one's at North Carolina State. In the same breath, basically was like, hey, don't waste your time. You won't get into either of them.
You suck.
You suck.
And so I was just kind of like, Okay.
Here's to you, Doc.
Yeah. It's like I'm like, okay, great. So then I kind of, as persevered in the sense of like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the guidance counselor. There's no internet then. This is 88.
Mm-hmm.
And I go and I talk to the guidance counselor, and she basically ruffles through a drawer and she hands me a trifold leaflet that is just for NC State. Mm-hmm. She's like, here.
Decision made.
There you go.
This is going to be great. You're gonna love it.
You'll love it. Call these guys. And so anyway, the design school, it was a school of design at the time. Now it's a college of design. Super selective, right? It was a very selective program. You had to like basically.
As most architecture schools.
Yeah, you pre-apply. Mm-hmm. You're like early acceptance. It's like this whole rigmarole. Well, by the time I'm doing this, it's like the ship has sailed, right? And so I make some phone calls, mm-hmm. and they're like, oh yeah, registrar on the other end of the line. Yeah, that ship sailed. Yeah.
You're not in.
Seat's taken.
Yeah, seat's taken. So
seat's taken.
Yeah, right. And she's and so she's like, well, here call this number because you can apply to the general university and gonna go from there. So then I give this information to my parents, and they're like, there's no gap year concept in 1988. My parents are like, you're going to college. Mm-hmm. And so, I start the process of looking to what that's like. And so anyway, so I end up applying and get into basically, I was going to try to get to civil engineering, but I didn't have the SAT score for that. So I just got into, I was a geology major, believe it or not. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. You use that a little bit?
Yeah. Rocks for jocks. Mm-hmm. I was in there.
Rocks for jocks.
And so that's what I got into.
Yeah.
And I got accepted to NC State. So I went there, and it was pretty amazing because there were 3 of us in the class of 19 in geology. And then at the end of the first semester, there were nobody left in the class of 1993 because everybody else also transferred out of the program. And I really attest. I mean, the reason that I got into the architecture school was from Kimberly Hale. If you're out there in the world, my RA was the one that was basically like, I told her, basically what was happening. And the second week that I was there, she took me over to the architecture school and got me the application and was like, here you go. This is the way that you do it.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah.
How much do you use what you learned in school every day?
Every day. All the time.
Every day.
There is not, I mean, the way that I described my undergraduate experience was it gave me the glasses to see the rest of the world with. And I cannot unsee that experience. Like we'll go back to that experience of like my RA taking me over to the architecture school.
You'll never forget it.
Never forget it because we walked into it was like walking into these studios, and it was, I mean, even in the first week of school, there was like people everywhere making things, cutting up cardboard. Like it was
architecture studios are pretty impressive places.
It's an insane experience, right? It's like
you live at school.
This is what
you
I
live
want
in
to
this
do.
room.
It's like you're like hold on a second, I can do this.
I
Like
can actually camp underneath my desk.
That's right, exactly, and live out of the vending machine
and live exactly. That's right.
Absolutely. I mean, I can survive off toasted cheese Lance crackers
and beer,
and Mountain Dew
at
the time
because you got to stay awake to get it all done.
Yeah,
that's right.
And but yeah, so that was that was this catalyst of like, and to be honest with you, from that day on till now I don't have a job. I have a lifestyle.
Yeah. It's the passion.
It is the thing, right? Yeah, it's the thing.
I always say the passion, you can see it in someone's eye. Like there's a gleam in the eye. Yeah. And when they talk about it, the voice picks up and you get faster. And you can literally hear and see when there's a passion. And you can see when there's not. And that's what I look at when I interview people.
Well, yeah. Well, and it's like I make the joke a little bit. It's like I get the special glasses all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. Like you put these glasses on and you're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. You can look at all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself more engineer minded or artistic minded?
That's hard. That's hard because I find myself being more practical on certain aspects of things. When I was in school as an undergrad, I probably was a little bit more on the like what I would call pure expression side. Mm-hmm. And after going to grad school and then being in the industry for a while, I don't consider myself like there are, we'll talk about star architects, Frank Gehry, we can talk about Zaha Hadid, like these like amazing visionary architects, if we want to talk, more nostalgic of the Frank Lloyd Wrights, I don't see myself as that kind of architect and that kind of designer. I think of myself as
more functional.
Yeah, like, and I don't want to say practical, but I mean, I'm design driven. You can't I can't not design something. It's going to be a considered thing. But I have a very what I consider a very practical approach to what I bring to the table in the process. I mean, design is one of those things that I can't turn it off. It's it's going to be everything. I mean, even to the extent of like making a cocktail or making food or, any kind of, letterhead or even arranging notes on a page that then goes out into the field. All of that stuff becomes a choreographed element. It's all important.
So I learned when I was in college, I went to K-State or Kansas State and learned, did construction science and management. One of our professors always said, he's like, Carl Riblett. He was a good estimating teacher. But anyway, he said, once you start doing commercial construction, you're going to walk through every single building and look up at the bar joist and the HVAC system and the plumbing, and you'll never unsee it ever again.
Yeah,
and it just becomes part of your life. And so I've told my son Lane this, who's now in engineering school, and he texted me the other day. He's like, "Dad, now I'm starting to understand because I just question everything. I start looking, and once you open your eyes and you have them in your, it's just part of you."
Well, and it's a situation too where it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Like I will wander into places and like especially when I'm traveling, I'll go into some place. How in the hell did they get away with that? Like like that's a code violation right there. Who let that get by?
It's Paulo.
What's that?
Yeah, Paulo Benedetti Jr.
Yeah. Well,
right.
it's a situation where it's like depending on the process. Part of the process that's happening in the job, depending on where we are in the design process, I obviously can defer some of that ultra pragmatism to letting the creative juices kind of be more forefront. But when it comes down to rubber hitting the road and this thing's got to get built, then it's like we equalize we calibrate the equalizer slightly differently. It goes from high treble to low bass, right? You got to make sure that you get that right because invariably it's going to be something out in the field and that's got to be right.
Got to be right.
Yeah.
So what's so you talked a lot about undergrad. Tell me about your grad school experience.
So I make this joke oftentimes that I think of my life as a little bit like Mr. Magoo. You guys remember Mr. Magoo, the cartoon? Like, he's this kind of aimless individual in the world, and he's wandering around and he's about to walk off of, a building, and this I-beam comes and scoops him up and then picks him up and then takes him somewhere else and then drops, he's just,
Would a more modern version of that be Forrest Gump?
Probably a little bit. Yeah.
Things just happen and he ends up
it's like, right.
Fortuitous elements.
Yeah. And so,
word there, Jason.
Yeah. Fortuitous.
$10 word.
Yeah.
Pay extra for that one.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah, for sure. It's like the idea that to me, like, I get to this milestone, right? So I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I got Doc Sugg that's telling me I'm not going to architecture school. I get into architecture school. I'm in the program and I'm getting close to the end of it. And I have a visiting faculty. So I had already done a year at State, so I kind of got out of sequence with some of my peers in the process. So I kind of had to shuffle around the studios, and I took an advanced level studio that was with a different set of classmates, and we had a visiting faculty member come in from California, and he was from Singapore, and he was way above and beyond the focus of what the faculty was at NC State. NC State faculty at the time was fantastic, but what I would call heavy modernist design, like your real kind of minimalist, heavy modern handle. And so I didn't know. I mean,
Ondo style.
Kind of, yeah. Like real clean modernism, Richard Meyer, like super clean stuff. And which is great. Well, I learned a lot of rules about that process. anyway, so I get this faculty member that's coming from somewhere else, visiting faculty member. He's from Singapore, and get into his studio, and we're doing a project that's an addition. It's a competition for the Corcoran Museum that was in Washington, D.C., directly adjacent to the White House.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a national competition, ACSA competition, and what we were doing was the entire studio was working to do this competition. And at the end of the semester, they were going to pick 2 students to bundle it up and actually submit it. They were going to pay for for those 2 people to go to that, submit, which at the time was $150, which, in 1990
a lot of money.
was like $4,000 now, right? It's like, so anyway, so we go through the semester. We're going through the semester to work to do this particular project, and this is my teacher that's like taking me through this. And so, architecture studio is not 8 to 5.
No, it's not.
So
it's 8 to 8. That's it.
8 a.m. to 8 a.m. So
yes.
It's a 24-hour shift.
That's right. And so I'm meeting with we're about 3/4 of the way through the semester, and we're working on our projects are really dialed in, and where I'm going to have a desk crit where this faculty member sits down. We're going to look at the project. So we're done. We're done with our desk critique, and we're kind of wrapping up. And the faculty member looks at me and he goes, "So, what are you going to do when you're done?" And I'm like, "Go to bed." I'm ready to tap out, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "No." I mean, he's like, "What are you going to do after you get through architecture school?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I kind of giggled. I'm like, "I don't know. I might get a job."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like right now, I'm just enjoying this moment. And he's like, "Well, no, I mean, seriously, like, what are you going to do?" And he's like, "Have you ever thought about like what?" I'm like, "Well, I'll talk to, I've talked to my dad about stuff." And he's like, "Hey, you should probably get your master's, but you maybe work in between, but, kind of do that." And I was like, really, what do you care?
Yeah.
I'm talking to this faculty member. And he's like, "No, I'm seriously, what do you think you want to do?" He's like, "Well, I'd probably go get my master's degree." And he's like, "Well, okay, great. That sounds wonderful. Where would you go?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I'd probably go here. I mean, this is, we've got a
That's
master's.
easy.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's right. I already got an apartment, like all this kind of stuff." And he looked at me and he goes, and I can remember the moment exactly. He looked at me and he goes, "Well, that'd be a waste of your time."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Oh.
And I'm like, "Well, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Dude, your work is already better than all the level of the grad students that are there." And I'm like, "Well, how do you know that?" And he's like, "Well, because when I'm not here with you guys, I'm over there in the I mean, they're working me like a rented mule." And I'm like,
and down these halls.
yeah, I'm like going through all these different studios, and I'm like, "Your work is already better than theirs." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're full of it." And he's like, "No, I'm serious." He's like, and I said, I'll never. I said, "All right, pal, where should I go?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh, what? I think you should go to Yale University." Mm-hmm. And I remember looking at him and laughing, going, "It's like, dude, I don't even know where that is."
Yeah.
And so that's that. And so I was very gracious and listened to what he had to say and kind of wrote it off. And the next day, I came in, and on my desk at the time, he had what's called the Yale Bulletin, which was, still no internet, was a pamphlet that they put out annually every year for all of the classes that were there. And in that envelope, or in that pamphlet, that booklet, which I still have, is an application.
That's awesome.
That's great.
And so, yeah.
Talk about a moment.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
So then you went to Yale?
I did.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
He's smart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
I know.
And so
He is really smart.
So I guess it was
So they
about
let you in too.
what yeah, they did.
You
Absolutely.
didn't just do the application.
Yeah,
You
right,
actually
yeah.
got in.
So I'm going to say one thing is on that we just said. I had a professor that did the same thing to me, that poured into me and saw something in me when I didn't see it in me.
Yeah.
And you can make fun of me. It's fine. I'm a writer. I'm a flowery writer. I write a lot and whatever. I talk a lot. My posts go on forever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You're expressive. That's what's
well,
great.
there you go. But he was an author too. He wrote books.
y'all are
on,
best friends.
Well, there you go. Pete Melby's his name. And he pulled me aside one time as like, "You are going to write a book, and you are going to be something that involves, the written word as well as what you're doing."
Great.
And I could see you as a teacher long term.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Really?
Yeah.
You've never told me that
And
story.
now here I am.
I still want to write a book. I haven't done that yet.
Oh, that's easy
but,
these
but
days.
I know.
Yeah.
But as far, I write all the curriculum program. And every time I think about Pete Melby all the time of being like, he saw that in me as a 20-year-old, whatever it was, 21-year-old. I didn't know what I was doing. And he was able to see that. And damn it. It's
that's great.
true. Anyway, so go ahead.
Well,
Sorry.
I mean, no, I mean, the thing that's, life is totally serendipitous, right? It's Mr. Magoo, right? Mr. Magoo. And so, I had that experience. I get this pamphlet. I've got another year's worth of school to go through, but now the seed's been planted, right? No internet. And so I start kind of poking around to other people, kind of like asking about like, hey, what about this? Or what about that? And, like start to ask around about it. And basically found other support from other people that were like, oh,
yeah, you should do that.
You should do that. And I was like, okay. And then I talked to my parents about it. And full disclosure, my mother was just like over the moon about it. She was like, this is amazing. You have to do this. And my dad was a little bit of a didn't say poo-poo it, but was trying to like manage my expectation of like, hey, dude, don't get your heart set on this. And,
not work out.
Right. And then there's the expense of it all. And,
right.
But my mother was like, you got to do all this. You got to do it. You got to go for it.
Go for your dream. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I graduated and then I went to go work I just like, also the other thing too, is like, hey, I want to do this. But I also, I didn't need to test the water. Yeah. I didn't want to just, I want to go and make at the time, an $80,000 investment, into my future. If this was something that I,
didn't want to really do.
Wasn't good at, it's like from
no matter what was
that's right.
I really didn't know what the hell I was talking about.
I know how to color, but what does it mean to put buildings together? And so anyway, so I worked, and then I what was really interesting is that I then worked in an office that there was a young lady that was in there that was several years older than I was that had gone to Princeton, and she became another Mr. Magoo moment that was like, hey, this is what you need to do. These are the things that you need to think about. Help me write my essay, help me work on my portfolio. Was like this other mentor that now she is now the dean of she's hopped around from different places as an academic, the university level, but she was a person that then also like helped kind of curate the next set of steps. And I applied to 3 schools. I applied to Yale, University of Pennsylvania, and Rice.
All great schools.
All very good schools. And got accepted.
Can you imagine if you wouldn't have those two people in your life?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like if I'd have stopped at Doc Sugg, I'd have, I mean,
you'll never amount to the difference in that Doc Sugg versus the Singapore guy for you and the Pete Melby for me.
Yeah.
When an educator and someone that pours it sees something in you and can point it out, it has immense power.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, it was. I mean, I was part of my fortunates is that I had parents that were also kind of, curating the ability to help me get from, I mean, I was good in school, but I wasn't, it wasn't like something that I was awesome at. I mean, it was, there were certain things that were natural. I mean, people always, well, there's no way I could be an architect because I wasn't good at the math. And I'm like, okay, math is a component, but it's not like an everyday, daily kind of thing. But I mean, I think that my interest in the technical, along with the creative, which was, I think you made the question earlier, do you consider yourself more artist than engineer? I think it's both. I mean, it's like, I can't, I mean, I think the artistry comes from being able to take a technical thing and make it incredible.
So true.
And that's really the challenge. I mean, that's what really makes great architects is that they not only can do, the swoopy pen kind of idea, but they also can
figure out how it actually works.
kind of facilitate exactly how to make that a reality.
Right.
Yeah.
In the and I'll use that as a moment too, just to bring up in the water shape world, in the design world, so many pool design guys or people don't know construction, and that's one of the biggest downfalls is you can't as a designer, if you don't know how it's built and you can't completely do it and understand the engineering behind it, you can't really unleash your creativity and design. You live scared.
Yeah.
But if you know that you can do it, and that's one of the benefits of where I went through Genesis and then Watership University, and took I had my design background, but then I learned all the details of the construction side and the engineering side, and now I can move forward confidently in my design and saying, this is what I want to do. It's pushing the envelope. I know no one's done it before, this whatever, but it can be done, and here's how. And I can show the math behind it, the engineering, the hydraulics, the construction details, and then you can say, no, this is what we want to do, and that unleashes your creativity to a whole new level.
Well, and it's an evolutionary process of learning, right? I mean, and that's you get, when we're in school, I always make the joke, or at least through a design program, you only learn half of the circle, right? Which is that you get the concept, and then you learn how to express the concept. But you never get to see the bottom half of the circle, which is taking the concept to then see through execution. And until you get a job and see things get built, you don't get that full circle.
Yeah.
Right.
And then what happens is after you see the iteration, the reiteration of all those different circles, then do you really kind of catch your stride and go, okay, I get this. There's a pitfall. There's an issue.
Right.
There's a challenge.
This didn't
there's
work.
There's an opportunity.
Right.
There's an opportunity. So, and then that gives you the confidence. I mean, in my industry, a young architect is where I am right now. I'm in my mid 50s. That's when you really start to catch your stride, because you've amassed 25 years worth of experience to understand, okay, this is how we're going to get from a doodle on the page through to an executed design. And how do you continue to make sure that design succeeds? Because there's that initial sketch, there's budgeting exercises, there's code review, there's all the people that are involved in the construction. To how does that
It's the whole process.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
takes years.
Yeah, yeah.
So you went from was your Yale experience a good one? Excellent.
I always make the joke that it's a brutalist building, so it's got to be built out of cast in place concrete to contain all the egos that are inside it. So it's Paul Rudolph building, which is during the 60s they burnt it to the ground, and all they did was swipe it, broom it out, rehang the drywall.
We're done.
We're
Same
done.
thing.
Put the light switches back on, and off to the races we go. So
So you and I, just from knowing you and your experience, you have pretty much, you've done it all in the architecture world, from A&D firm experience to you spent a lot of time in the academic world yourself.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I thought, when I was in an undergrad and after I had this interaction with this faculty member, one of the things that I thought was awesome would be an architecture teacher. You get to do all of this amazing design work, and if you had a practice on the side, and you get to work with energetic students, and that would be. And so that's part of the reason I was also interested in going to Yale was there was no PhD program at the time, and I was thinking I'm going to just shoot the moon and try to get as great a degree as I can to then have that opportunity to leverage into teaching. So after Yale, I went and worked at what I commonly refer to as my time in the NFL. I worked at a really high-profile international design firm, César Pelli and Associates.
Okay, yeah.
Which is Pelli Clark Pelli, which is now PCP. My first project that I worked on when I was
in
there,
big leagues when it comes
it's the big
to,
leagues.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, was the Kuala Lumpur Twin Towers that were in the movie Entrapment, right? That's what it's a 1 million square foot.
You did that?
Well, I worked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
full concept.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build
Design
up here,
Right.
Ego.
Yeah.
Ego.
Right. Yeah.
Ego.
Right. But we had at that time there was 120 people in the office, and we had projects that were all over the world, and it was amazing. I mean, it was also a time when I worked 85 to 90 hours a week.
Yeah.
And
40 grand.
That's right. Yeah. You too could make tens of dollars.
Tens of dollars. That's right.
All in one week.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all in 1 month.
year.
But I mean, it was great experience. But academia was a little bit of the carrot on the stick. One of the reasons that I got out of working in that big firm when you work on a project of that scale and magnitude, from an original initial doodle to completed building at that time, 6-7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're like hand drawn.
Which we were using AutoCAD, but it was also like to go through the big
12.
Yeah, it was AutoCAD 2000.
Yes.
14. I started in
No, it's
AutoCAD.
pretty-
Yeah, it was AutoCAD 14, and then we had Architectural Desktop.
Yeah.
Woo!
I remember that, yeah.
And so
Late 90s.
all things in model space, no paper space.
Yeah.
And but so if you're thinking about the design bid process back then, totally different in the world of
totally.
To bid a job,
It was months.
it was like it could be 3 months to get a bid for a job.
Yeah. I was in commercial too.
Yeah.
And it was months.
Yeah. And so one of the last projects I worked on in the office was the Miami. If you've been to Miami, there's the Symphony Hall and the.
That's where you lived for a while.
Yeah. So those two buildings were the last ones that I was drawing the facades on all of those buildings. That was my job, was unwrapping that building and drawing all of the facades for it.
For what? The Symphony Hall?
Yeah, it
and
was
what
the
else?
Symphony Hall and the Performing Arts Center. So they were two yin yangs right in downtown Miami.
That's cool.
Amazing project. And but I mean that project had started from a competition that was won before I had gone to grad school, which was 5 years before that.
Yeah.
So you start to understand, it's like, if I'm going to work in this firm for 30 years,
We're going to do 6 projects.
I'm going to do 6 projects. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And obviously that has changed over the course of the way that projects get delivered now at that level. But still, it was like all of a sudden, it's like, holy smokes.
You're married to this long term.
Yeah, it's like and then most likely in an office like that, I would work on that and then I'd get done and then I would never see it again because it would go into a different team and then those people would execute it. And I may get invited to the end result. So that loop that I talked about, I wasn't necessarily getting that full loop still. And that was one of those.
It's a big loop.
It's a big loop and a project like that.
Oh, totally.
And so, so that was part of the reason that I shifted and then I was like, hey, I'm going to take my opportunity to get in academia. And then I went and I did some adjunct level stuff, Connecticut College, Wesleyan in Middletown. And then I went and got a tenure track job at Springfield at Drury University.
So what did you do with that?
I taught fifth year. So I was the capstone experience and I taught technology. So I taught all the, that was the hook that they wanted.
So back then, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No,
sorry.
you're
What
good.
was technology back then?
So back then,
The cutting edge. What was the cutting edge?
it was, you could model in AutoCAD, but you were then exporting those AutoCAD 2000 allowed you to model in 3D. That was the hook for it. That was what
First time.
Yes. So it wasn't just a 2D drafting anymore. And then you exported that model into 3D Studio Max or 3D Studio Viz, which were rendering softwares, which were the kind of like inkling of Lumion or any of these. SketchUp was really not
yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Did that
in
happen
there.
like in early 2000s?
It was a Trimble product that was based off of the
And Google bought it.
Yeah, and then and then so it was super the like 3D, and then there was also Silicon Graphics at the time. Silicon Graphics was like they were doing Hollywood level motion animation and things. So when I went to go teach, I was teaching 3D Studio Max, AutoCAD, Photoshop, Illustrator, all of the basic.
This is early 2000s? Okay.
Yeah. So that was the basis for all that. And then, you could do animations and you were basically animating in 3D Studio Max, which is a product that's still out there in the universe. You can still use 3D Studio Max. But you're not modeling in that software. You're going to model in Revit or, Revit at the time did not exist. Well, it existed in a very small Scandinavian country,
In somebody's
in somebody's garage,
That's right.
Yeah. So, but that didn't come on the scene. I went into teaching. I taught from 2002 to 2007 as a tenure track faculty. And at that point, things were coming onto the market of a laser cutter. Like that was like novel. CNC manufacturing.
Oh yeah,
that was novel.
Cutting edge. Yeah.
I mean, it was obviously in certain levels of manufacturing, but it had not trickled down to, university level or the architecture world. The big push at that time was CATIA, which is what Frank Gehry uses and CATIA is the software which they use to make airplanes, spaceships.
Yeah.
It's a technical,
product modeling.
But industrial, like you can take something in CATIA and then take that and transfer that directly into a fabricated
It's like
item.
SolidWorks now, but
Yes.
a simple version.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's big, like,
Big stuff.
big stuff, right? SolidWorks is gonna model and do
right.
this, right? But CATIA does a A380, level stuff.
What kind of technology do you use today?
I'm a Revit guy, so I model. So when I moved to Nashville, my first architecture job was Revit 2007 was the
early version of Revit.
super early version of Revit, and the firm that I worked with was like, yeah, we're not using AutoCAD.
We're going to learn this.
We're going to go, and it
Wow.
it wasn't hard for me because I was used to modeling in the 3D environment all the time with AutoCAD and with 3D Studio Max. I just did not use it in the production oriented. So that's the beauty of Revit is that it's
you
not
put all the teams together so you can figure out problems.
You basically it's not siloed, right? You're not like going to go model this thing over here and then draft it over here and then produce it over there. It's all
right here.
It's all combined, and you just figure out which way you want to present it. Either it's a presentation drawing or it's a construction drawing. So, and I mean, so I guess I've been using it for almost 20 years.
How do you use AI? Or do you use AI?
So
You'll get into the full technology story here.
I will say that AI for me has not, like, I haven't engaged with AI yet in anything production oriented.
Does it scare you?
Do
you think it's an opportunity?
I don't know its capabilities yet. I do know that it makes a lot of ugly things. And it's
well spoken.
And the thing is I think that there are. I have had to. Do we want to put it in the Pinterest category? I don't know. I mean, Pinterest is also a terrible
tool. It's a tool, but it might not be a great tool.
It's a it's
so
a 40.
Is HGTV.
Yeah. Well, yes, right. But I think of it's a. I made the joke earlier about what architecture means. I mean, to me, architect is managing expectations, really. And I think AI now becomes this thing that I gave it 15, prompts, and this is what I can get. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. There's no way you can get that. And I mean, you can, but your budget doesn't allow for that. And I think that it's a tool that we don't know what that is yet. I mean, I've seen it. I've watched podcasts and seminars and webinars about what are the things that it allows us to do. Like there's some stuff that you can go and you can plan out like 20 different iterations of a parking layout. And I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. But you can't get to that entire bay of parking spaces, but it laid out.
It looks good on paper.
It's like, it's
this close from the other parking spots.
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, in my mind,
6.5 feet wide.
Exactly. There's your unicycle parking.
The unicycle.
But yeah, so yeah, I think there are people in my industry that are forecasting that it's going to be the demise of my profession. Okay, great. You want to forecast like how is AI? How is AI gonna go out on the job site and go, hey, that's not work. That's not built right.
It's the full cycle, like you're about to. It's the concept
circle,
it can think through, but then how does it built correctly and understand and complete the circle it can't do at that point.
Well, I mean, if there's some really funny stuff. If you want to go and go to Google and type in AI floor plans, there's some really great examples of you do some prompts to design a 5-bedroom, 5-bath house and you can see the floor plans for what that looks like, and it's like got 6 foyers, and it's got the washer and dryer, in every bedroom, like stuff that's just why it's come up with
That's
that.
hilarious.
Who knows, right?
Yes.
So. Yeah, AI is not going to be called that. Hey, by the way, this doesn't work. Can you come out to the job site?
Yeah, that's right.
You get what you pay for, right?
That's
One
right.
of those challenges.
No, I think it's one of those things that's we're at the beginning of it. No one has a clue what the potential is.
Well, and I think I think some people say, oh, hey, AI is new. I mean, actually, AI has been around for quite a long time. It's just been behind the scenes for a lot of stuff. I mean, AI in essence has been around since any GPS, like if you've ever bought a Garmin, GPS tracking service for before your phone could do it, that's all AI. That was all AI technology for you to map. I mean, how to get from Nashville to Atlanta. Then it would give you some map to show you how to do that. That's AI. That's just that, back then when my parents did it, it was you'd call AAA, and it was you got a triptych.
Mm-hmm.
And that's there's probably like 3 viewers out there on YouTube that know what a triptych is.
I don't know what a triptych is. So
right.
there
You know what MapQuest is?
Sure, MapQuest. Yeah,
Dude, I miss
MapQuest.
MapQuest.
We got
Yeah,
MapQuest.
but MapQuest
we had to go
was-
MapQuest it.
Yeah, we had to go MapQuest.
Well, but MapQuest is another. It was an entry level version of AI.
And before that was Rand McNally.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I had the big Rand McNally, the big yellow one, and I used to draw every place we were going to go. And
I bet you did.
I was a traveler back then.
No, that's cool.
That's
cool. Yeah, but I mean, but that to me, I think it existed, right? I mean, it was the thing that somebody that had populated information and allowed that to, now you can go in your phone, and I last night went into my images and said I was looking for an image of a bottle of sake, and I typed in sake, and it pulled up all the pictures of sake bottles that I had taken photos of, and I was like, okay.
You got your finger on the pulse here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a topic for a whole nother,
Well,
a nonstop thing. And in fact, we were talking with Dakota, our producer, about it earlier. He's heavy into some research on it, and
it's
seeing
amazing.
some capabilities.
It's amazing.
It blows your mind. You think this is awesome, and oh shit, that's kind of scary too.
Well, I mean, I think for a small business, this is just my thought. I think for a small business owner, I think it's a good opportunity to be able to be a lot more efficient, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
But we can put our people to do better things instead of just like cranking on one thing at one time. We can go do other things. Like we can go take care of one of our clients and go spend more time with a client. It's things that are maybe could be more important. It doesn't mean that all these jobs just have to disappear. It's just like, we could just be better.
Yeah.
And the stuff that's just so minutia.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's like, let's just make it more accurate and move on down the road. So
well, and I think that there, like anything, there's checks and balances of what things that we need to not forget about. And what I mean by that is that I think everybody still needs to know what a pen and a paper are and a pencil, and how to sketch.
Very important how to
also
communicate through drawing.
Yeah, I also think it's really important for people that learn how to drive that they know how to throw their arm over the shoulder and look out the rearview mirror.
Yeah, that's right.
Because what happens if the camera goes out?
Doesn't work.
Well, I had a friend of mine that their daughter was telling me, well, I can't drive that car. It doesn't have a backup camera.
Oh, come on.
That's where we are, pal.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I've had that with my kids at first, because the first car they got didn't have a backup camera. And you got to learn. That's right.
Yeah, you throw your arm over the seat.
That's right.
And you look out the back window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stick shift, baby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
5-speed for sure.
Remember that.
Yeah. My wife still drives a 5-speed. My Audi's a 5-speed. My pickup truck's a 5-speed.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's good.
And then the golf cart that I drove down here, Prius, it's just a little, it's got like this little joystick thing, which is totally emasculating.
Totally. At least you own it.
I do. Yeah, for sure.
It's good.
Yeah.
How did you get from Yale to teaching, the big firm to, teaching, you ended up in the residential world.
So
how did that transition happen?
So it's interesting because I think that when I started, my first architecture job was commercial work. And that was completely eye-opening because I was like, kicked into the deep end. architecture school is all like,
Totally.
they fat markers and,
Line
we're gonna
weights.
competition level, like compositions of elevations and everything. And it's all of a sudden it's like, hey, we got 3 hours to get these like 6 sheets done. And, this is, go click. And I'm like, okay, what, I don't even know what I'm doing. And so the first 2 years that I was out of school, I was drinking from a fire hose of like understanding what specs were and what back then there were suites catalogs and like understanding like how to spec what kind of doors we were going to use or
Pull
hardware.
this detail out of an old.
For sure. Like
How does an RFI work?
yes,
What is
right,
an
exactly.
RFI?
Which, I'll never forget that my first construction related phone call on the first set of documents I finished, I received a phone call from the contractor and he's like, hey, we're out here and blah, blah, blah. And this brake metal thing doesn't work and blah, blah, blah. And, and he's like, well, what's the answer? And I'm like,
What's
I-
brake
I-
metal?
I-
that's exactly what I was like.
What's brake metal?
What is brake
Never
metal?
heard of it.
let's go back to the first.
And I'm like, okay, well, what are we talking about? Like give me what detail are we not refer? I'm like,
very
yes,
yeah,
I'm like there's green and then there's like emerald green,
Yeah. You're an
like
emerald
deep
green.
green. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna have to get in touch with Lewis, who was my boss, and I was like, I need to get with him to make sure that I get the right gauge of brake metal. And that we figure out exactly how we're going
All
to.
BS.
Yeah. And so, like, I get off the phone with this. Lewis is at somewhere else, and I go to my colleague that helped me get this whole set together, and he's like, and I got this piece of paper, and I'm like,
What is
I got
this?
this kid from Tom, and he's like, well, there's some problem with brake metal. Like, what is brake metal? And so, anyway, we go. It's like, well, I think we need to go. This is it. Like, he couches this whole thing as basically a teaching moment. That we go out to the job site. So we're like looking at, we got to go see what's exactly going on. So no taking a photo and texting it to anybody. We've got to go out there to the dirt to actually go
And draw it.
and
See it.
draw
Yeah.
it and see what it was. And so once we get out there and I'm looking at it, the circle closed because I'm like looking at it. It's like, okay, well, the contractor screwed up where the wall plane and the window plane was. And so in the soffit, there was a big gap, between the storefront and the edge of the soffit. And the vertical wall, the parapet wall that was above it. So I'm like going,
More.
yeah,
More.
yeah, brake metal, and that's how we're going to cover that gap.
We need more brake metal.
And so, anyway, but to get from there, I basically, the commercial world, the way that I would describe commercial architecture and construction is very transactional.
No creativity.
It's more about pure problem solving and how efficient we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was the way it was when I was working at Pelli and Associates, but at a much, much higher level. I mean, we were designing exterior facades for buildings that were $3,000 and $4,000 a square foot. So, I mean, we're talking like insanely expensive exterior.
And that's back in the
That's
early,
back,
yeah.
yeah,
was
the
back
late
in the 60s.
90s, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So late 90s, early 2000s, and that. So I mean, who knows what that is now? I mean, that's crazy money. So I had done residential work on the side in other situations, and I had kind of made this connection. I was like, oh, well, this is like two opposite ends of a pendulum of like what that experience is like. Because in residential world, super emotional. It's all about expression. It's all about connection. It's all about, all these, like, it's less transactional and it's more about kind of harvesting what's out of their particular client, what it is that they want to achieve, what their goals are. It's a different, totally emotion driven kind of experience. When I went to teach, I was, it's that upper half of that circle, if you want to call it. And then when I came back and into the professional world, the firm that I worked for did both residential and commercial. So I then kind of had the opportunity to kind of do both. And it does have a bit of a balancing act between commercial work is much more transactional and deadline driven. Obviously we have deadlines in residential, but it's definitely a softer kind of approach.
Driven.
Yeah, totally cost driven. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's and then as I rolled out of working in a firm, opportunities came more in the residential world, and so that's where I do both now. I mean, but I would say it's a 70-30 split: 70% residential, 30% commercial. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
is there a not ego is not the word I want to use, but is there a stigma to the residential from an architectural side, from the big firm?
I think that big firms don't do residential architecture,
right.
because the dollars
below
and cents.
them.
Well, it's the dollars and cents don't make sense.
Yeah.
They can't. The workforce development from production through the end result. I mean, I had lunch today with a client for a project that's under construction now that I started in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, a commercial, architecture firm is not going to
Stay on that long.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be like, you make up your mind yet?
We're done here.
We're done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help you until you figured it out.
Yeah.
And it's a juggling act of experiences. And, you do a commercial job and it's like, listen, we're starting today and we've got to be, I'm losing dollars and cents every minute that we're standing here talking about like, what color the drapes need to be.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work in Turner Construction doing commercial. Did that for like 6 years. But it was all about just schedule and when we get done.
Well, and at an institution
and
like
topping out party.
For sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's
no emotion.
Yes. Well, the relationships exist in what the next project is.
Yeah.
What the next project is. It's like, I'll pat you on the back if I can get another job out of you. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's also very goal driven. It's very,
you're not changing lives and you're not changing. It's not an emotional attachment. To
it's all about what you can deliver.
Yeah.
It's all about what can be delivered in that time frame,
mm-hmm.
And it's a trade-off.
Do you have a preference?
Mm-mm.
No, you like them both?
I like them both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that one of the things that's nice about commercial work sometimes is it teaches me sometimes, hey, you might want to coach your client to be a little bit more demonstrative in some decision making.
Mm-hmm.
If they need to be, sometimes there's times you can pump the brakes, and there's other times you'd be like, hey, you know what? We can make that decision later. Let's get past this. I mean, I've the project that the one that I started in 2019, we had a whole nother design. It went to market for price. It was too much. And then he paused on it for a while, and then he came back and said, hey, I want to scale this back. And then we, that's how we got to where we were or where we are now. But he had to come up with that. I can't make a decision for them on that. But in a commercial setting, I'd be like, pick the blue one. Let's go.
We're moving.
Pick the blue one. Mm-hmm. Blue one's going to go.
No emotion.
It's just like, the blue one's on the shelf.
Looks
Let's
great.
get it.
Looks great with that color.
If we pick blue one, all right, we can adjust this over here and go.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you need that, right? And I like both. I'm really lucky that I get to do both. And I enjoy that kind of balance. Mm-hmm. The residential stuff sometimes it kind of can be drama laden.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Famous last words.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Well, it's intimate to those people, and you just have to have it's your interpersonal skills, how you handle your interpersonal skills. And that's in the residential world, people will come to me looking for a transactional situation. And I'm like, I'm not your guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not, like I want, a house plan with 4 bedrooms and 3.5 baths and how quickly can you get that done? Like, I'm not about speed.
Production level design versus
custom made. I do some development stuff, but I'm never fast enough and I'm too expensive.
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yep. Same.
Especially the fast enough part for you.
That's right. There's a happy medium, man. You got to make money and deliver.
Well, I tell people there are 3 things in the process. You have quality, you have speed.
Well, you can't have all 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then you have time.
Yeah.
Well, it's quality, speed, and
good, fast, and cheap. Pick 2.
Yeah.
You
get 2. And then during COVID, you only got 1.
Yeah.
Mainly, if you're lucky.
Yeah. Or none.
Well, and there's some people that you tell them that, and they pick the 2 that they want, and then they realize that they can't adhere to the 2 that they picked,
right?
And then in essence, they've you can edit this out, Dakota. They hit the bet on all 3 of them.
Yeah.
So it's that's just, okay. I can tell you what the rules are or the paradigms that are there.
It's up to you.
It's up to you,
Yeah.
I always say, I make suggestions, you make decisions.
There we go. For sure.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Your call, dude. But
Yeah.
and here's the reasons why.
Yeah. For sure.
We're all out of bourbon.
Yeah, let's go take a break.
Let's take a break.
Okay, I like it.
Correct. All right, pool pros. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about one of our favorite pool product manufacturers, and that would be Hayward.
I've been with Hayward for 20 years as a pool builder. I started with them in Florida, and I've been with them in Tennessee, and they've been wonderful ever since. If I ever have an issue, they're always there to fix it, and it's a wonderful, wonderful partner.
They've got great products, but even more so than the products, there's the people behind it and the passion they have for the industry itself.
Thank you so much, Hayward, for sponsoring and helping Elevate become what we all know it will be.
Now, let's get back to the show. All right, we're all refreshed, refilled, and we got smoked.
Yeah,
but thanks to Chad's expert cocktail making there.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it.
Thank you for that little expo on how to do that on the kind of easy level versus going to
the big bowl. The smoke,
right. Yeah, the little
nest
atomizer.
Thing,
Right.
We'll charge you $19 for that coming up too. So there you go.
Yeah,
Since we're talking about restaurants.
Did you take Amex?
It tastes more like $30 though, Paul.
Yeah, Diners Club, right?
Diners
No, I mean it's pretty. I mean that's pretty remarkable. I like that.
Hey, the pecan liqueur adds a nice little flavor too.
That's
so
definitely...
tell your secret. What have you?
Well, I just like to use different liqueurs for flavors in bourbon instead of just drinking it straight.
Yeah,
that's just kind of my little mixology.
So, do you like higher proof bourbon or lower proof?
I
bourbon?
like about 90 to 100.
Yeah, mid range bourbon.
But there's some good 120s that don't taste like 120
for sure.
Which is
Stag Junior is one of my favorites, which is about 135, 137 proof.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's got to be a manly man.
You don't get white. You don't get a white beard.
Get that beard.
You don't get a white beard with an 80 proof bourbon.
I don't have a beard at all.
You have how many chins?
4. Just ask my daughter. Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
So I've been told before we started that I need to grow a beard, and all that disappears.
Yeah, you don't have second chins or fifth chins when you have a beard.
So I might have one next week.
And
a beard, that is.
You're gonna come back. Well, you already got chins.
The next time I'm going to have
lacking in that.
I'm going to have a beard that goes past my navel, so that way it covers the chins and covers all of this.
How can we get the hang of the gut?
Yeah,
That's
right. My Dunlop disease is out of control.
Dunlap.
Oh my
God. Right. Sure enough.
So, Paul, you want to talk about your education in the outdoor living world and architecture world?
Yeah, this is great that I get this opportunity.
Which is?
Well, no, to sit down and have a conversation with you because I think that the whole reason that I'm part of the pool industry is because of you.
Oh,
it is true.
Tell me more.
No.
Tell me how wonderful he is. He loves to hear that. Yeah. He loves to be stroked. And say,
Well, I got the palm leaf. Go to get the palm leaf. But that's.
Go back to your Mr. Magoo thing, the way that it worked out. You just follow the leads, but go ahead.
But it was a situation where we were working on a slew of projects, and I remember you going, "Hey, I've got a punt. I got to go take this Genesis class because I'm working towards, getting this certification." And I remember thinking to myself, like, "Okay, what is he talking about? I'm not sure what this is." And then you were in the process of finishing all of that out, and 2019, you're doing all of that kind of stuff. 2020 rolls around, obviously COVID hits, and you're well ingrained into this organization. And you're like, hey, would you be interested in sitting in on this podcast or this panel discussion? That was a virtual panel discussion that was with Kate, Faraz, Kurt, and you. And it's kind of like, they're like, hey, would you be interested? It was a design panel, and it was a virtual design panel.
This was right after, this was like in, let's call it May of 2020. I mean, it was like when the world went, it was like, how can we do something and figure out? And I know Genesis was the first one that really tried to, like, I taught the very first virtual class of anyone in this industry's class was a Structure Studios, like 101 class and how to do 3D modeling. And it's like, this is going to be clunky. How does this thing work? Zoom thing. Yeah. But it turned out it's really sort of set the stage for what was to come. But that was another one that was that same period.
And it was it obviously was a great experience. I mean, I got to meet Kirk virtually. I got to meet Frost virtually.
I love Frost.
And Kate virtually, you know, and from that point, it became an opportunity that, you know, from there, we had another panel discussion that they invited me to come to Dallas, and have, and that was a year later, you know, because it was in 21 at that point. It was their first in person post COVID. And then after that, it was, you know, kind of snowballed, and it kind of created more and more opportunities. They had me develop, you know, pick up the architectural styles course, which is what really is the lift for me in the Genesis kind of curriculum. But I now have, you know, other responsibilities that are in the wellness world and talking about, you know, all of the things that are not just architecture related, but design and collaboration related. And so, you know, they keep asking and I keep going.
You keep saying sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure enough.
And so now, like, you know, Kate rolled off as the design faculty chair for Genesis, and they've asked me to be that particular person. So I am that you know, I get to have that opportunity, and
It's a great opportunity.
It's a great opportunity. Then I get to work, you know, I get to collaborate with Terry, you know, Terry Brannon, and you know, and he's the engineering chair, and you know, we'll get the opportunity to work with you know, what I would consider advanced level people in the pool industry that are really focused on kind of going up to that next level. That's that level we talked about before. I mean, I know that's a different echelon. That's the carrot on the stick for the opposite end of the pendulum of what you guys are doing here.
Well, that's what we want to do. We want to teach them and then guide them that direction. You know?
For sure.
And that's, I mean, I'm still part of that world
for
too.
sure.
I mean, and it's through the, you know, the politics of all the, you know, way things go. I'm with Watershape University or with Genesis.
Yeah.
They hate each other. I love them both. So, I mean, you know, that's their problem, not mine. But
and I mean, it's a situation where it's like, that's all history that's before I came into the organization. And listen, I mean, we're all in industry.
We're all
trying to help.
That's right. I mean, we're all just trying to.
And we can all be friends and have fun doing it.
Absolutely.
So, I know.
Yeah.
So what's your vision for the future for the students that are coming into your classes and actually into Genesis?
Well, I mean, I think
since you're a chair.
Yeah. Well, I think from my perspective, it is creating a good relationship for a student to feel a relationship with both the design side, right? Like, so to me, I think of design as a bit of vision, right? Like that's the vision column of what Genesis offers. The engineering side is design related, but it gets into that practical side that is a bit of I don't want to say siloed, but it is definitely a technical component to the process. I think that the next steps for the industry as a whole is thinking about the business side of things too. You know, thinking about what it's like to run a business and how to capitalize on design, how to capitalize on engineering, how to capitalize on running a smooth and efficient business. You brought it up earlier about what AI can help with that, right? Listen, you are a perfect example of like saying somebody like, hey, here's how you organize all of your business components. I mean, you and I have sat down and looked at like, hey, this is how we run a business. These are the line items that then do that. That's huge. That information and knowledge, the things that you bring to the table, everybody needs to know about. I can learn from that.
Oh, totally. That's why we all got to collaborate.
That's right. And I mean, you know, it's like, well, let's throw Rocky Wisely out. I mean, you know, Rocky, who's a fantastic professional, comes from the construction side, but also comes and brings your level of interest and understanding of like, hey, this is how you can organize all this information to help you not just be like, oh man, we can do that. We'll just
let's make it a profitable business.
That's right. Let's figure out how to, capitalize is a key word here. And I'm not meaning to be capitalist, but it's like, hey, it's gotta be sustainable. It's gotta, you gotta
make money, or else you won't be around next year.
That's right. You gotta,
it's very simple.
That's right. You gotta be able to support your business so that you can help clients do what they want to do.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Very good. No.
I don't know if that answered your question. Chad.
No, it did. It's your vision.
Yeah, and so are there other? You're now developing courses and everything. Is there sort of a a goal that you're aiming toward,
You
or
know,
where are you trying to take this, or do you have a way you're trying to?
Well, I think part of what I think the design industry is interested in is harnessing AI, trying to figure out what that is.
Yeah,
A lot of it is also communication based. I mean, I think being able to communicate with design, document design, present design to clients, the value in that process, because we in this circle combat the hey man, pool goes over there
Totally.
mentality. Your
Yeah.
pool goes over there, pal. Just tell me what kind of coping you want, where you want the plants in the bushes, right?
But it's great to have buy-in from all the team players of
That's right.
why the design is, and we've talked about this a lot, and
Yes.
and my team knows that there's a why behind the design.
Oh, for
So appreciate it and understand it, but you have to understand it. If you don't understand it, then you're just doing what you're just talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, we all know that the lowest common denominator is pool goes over there,
Right.
And that's a sales transaction kind of condition.
I call it a checklist designer when you're doing it. Just
absolutely.
what do you want? Click, 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 click.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
here you go. Regurgitated. I gave it to you. There you go. And then
it's,
you totally missed the point because you're going back to where you were talking before. The heart is in residential, and the emotion and the passion is there, and it's not the difference in the commercial world.
Well, and there's also, and I make this comment, and I got this from part of the conversation from working with you early on, is that the investment that these people put in their backyards is oftentimes incredibly disproportionate or proportionate to maybe other aspects of their life. They're wanting to bring a spa-like experience or a retreat resort experience to their backyard. Yes, you can have a 6-figure or a 7-figure backyard, but I believe that design can also be accommodated at a 5-digit backyard experience.
So true.
And I think that just because, for sure. Okay.
Tens of five.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess the way that I look at it too is that there's a.
It's hard to do anything with not 6, but that's okay. That's
Well,
okay. I get your point. The point is you can do
Design is not budget dependent.
You don't have
Good
to spend a
design
gazillion dollars.
principles.
That's right.
That's right. And
Or not immediately hitched to the exact dollar figure.
I think it also has to do with scale, but yes, you're correct.
no, but I think that in essence, if there's somebody that has a modest budget, that they're entitled to the sensitivity of where that investment can go in their backyard. And so that's where I guess
agree.
it doesn't necessarily have to have as many bells and whistles,
Right.
but it
But
does.
solid design principles
That's
is what
exactly
it's
right.
based off of.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't matter. You can use basic concrete and a fiberglass pool and some things and create a fantastic space.
Yeah.
Based on the way that it's balanced, the way you're using foreground, midground, background,
Yeah,
the
for
way
sure.
that the way your fundamentals are put together,
Yeah.
and the way your framework is done, doesn't have to be a big budget item to it.
Absolutely, and and its relationship to the house that it sits in. And I make this crystal clear when I'm in the environment of talking about people's backyards. It's like I don't design pools. I don't. I design all the things that go around the pool, or have influence to all the things that go around the pool. And that I help kind of orchestrate all of what that looks like, because I think that if you orchestrate that experience, it's going to be successful. We all know, we've all walked into a backyard and go, why is the pool over there?
Totally.
Yeah.
Why
Totally
is
agree.
it? Why is
Right in the middle,
Why is
plop,
this,
and it
why
just
is
like
the
an
spa-
envelope
Why
system.
is the spa over there?
Yeah.
And you in a well-considered backyard and a well-considered experience, those are things that you don't even think about. You just blow right past it and go like, okay, what is the thing that we need to fix back here? What is the issue that we need to talk about? What is the thing that is that next level kind of experience, right? Oh, hey, we're going to add this outdoor kitchen. Okay, well, let's look at the context of what it is and then figure out exactly where it needs to go.
Yeah. So it's one of those, and that's one of my big points, especially from a pool design perspective of what most of the pool designers do is start with a pool and plop it in the middle of the backyard.
Oh, yeah.
And then you wrap it around with a bunch of decking. And then
Yeah.
you take that and you put some plants around the backside of that. And then you put a fence. It's just a series of envelopes that go out. And there's no integration. There's no, architectural continuity to it. There's no way it all ties together. And really, to the point, the pool is the last thing
It's a negative
that you
space,
design.
right?
Yeah.
It's a negative space. It's what's left over afterwards.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it, in one of my big design things, you can't, like, if I can describe the pool as a shape, I've lost the design.
Yeah.
I want it to be something that is indescribable as far as it's not a rectangle or an oval or a Roman end or whatever. It doesn't have a name. It's just, it starts here and goes there, and it's the connector. The water is the connector that ties it all together as one.
For sure.
So,
And I think it's the lack of a preconceived end result.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's what happens with a lot of stylistic kind of things is just like, oh, you're going to just plop this thing in the back. And then it's, that's it. It's a one trick pony. No, I think that every site, every location, every sun setting, every sunrise, all of that is different. That's why every project is different. Every piece of dirt has a different set of constraints that then leads to a different result. That's why oftentimes I'm not a prototype. People are like, well, you have a catalog that I can look at and pick from?
Yeah, A, B, C, or D.
Yeah, it's like,
Right.
that's
Any
like,
color you want, as long as it's black.
As long as it's
right,
black.
exactly. And that's not what I'm going to do, right? That's not the hook. That
But what it is a process.
for sure.
The process is the same, and you're following that same design process. And for me, it's the homeowner, his style, what makes their life right. I want and the biggest thing, and this goes into you, is the architecture of the house. I take almost all of my cues in design from the architectural style of the house.
Yeah.
And where that comes and how that ties in is massive. And then I look at the site and the assets limitations, and then I look at the why, and that's a whole other a whole nother lesson we can talk about another time. But
yeah, for sure.
But
That's part trois.
Can I ask you? Let's keep going.
I'll stop. Go ahead.
What when you're in architectural school, do they teach you those? I mean, do they teach you those space as far as how everything connects?
So the S word is oftentimes rarely used, and that's style, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it is there is a, I mean, obviously style is a label, right? I mean, and I teach architectural styles, but it's really architectural styles is a veiled history class because it's talking. It's architectural history. It's about the history. I teach it as a relationship of the way that the country has evolved, and those things were like representations of an era. A 50s ranch burger or a 50s,
Ranch burger.
ranch burger, that is a product of a whole series of environmental and manufacturing processes that then led to a style. That's not something that was like, oh, we're going to call it this. It evolved into what that is. Okay, that's
It was named later.
It was named later.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for example, what made a 50s ranch was basically construction technology, plywood, dimensional lumber, all of those things, pre-manufactured windows. It's a byproduct of the Sears and Roebuck house. Those are
production
based. It was manufacturing. It's a two steps beyond the Industrial Revolution. That's what led to the ranch burger, the mid-century modern, or the California ranch, or whatever it is that you want to call it. I mean, that is what led to what that is. So refresh my memory
So my question is like Jason teaches that, which is awesome, is you take all your cues from the architecture of the house.
Yeah.
Right? So all the views, all the corridors, all where you live in, and how you're looking out towards the space, how it all makes sense, where you have vertical elements, where you have balance, where you have.
Okay.
So my question is in architectural school. Yeah. How do they teach you? Like, is there a correlation on that same idea in architects when you're doing a floor plan? Because I don't know.
Yes.
But you built massive, amazing houses.
I was great. I was really good on space. Like I know how to do living space and stuff. But as far as like, there's no. I'm just saying. I think you're out of your you're really outside the box thinking about. Okay, well, we're taking this, and then we're gonna make everything around us make sense from everything that's in here.
So there's the other S word. Okay, space. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I commonly refer to when I was teaching architects, like in the architecture school, I often refer to little A architecture and big A architecture. Little A architecture is all of the stuff that is, I had a colleague that used to call it horse sense. It's like, you don't go up to go down, or you don't go down to go up. Like certain things that are just like, okay, we're not going to go all the way around the building to go into the building, right? Like things that are just
Logic.
Common sense.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Common sense, right? That's little a stuff, right? You don't make a public bathroom so that when the doors open, you can see somebody on the can.
Correct.
It's like,
or the pool bath.
Yeah, or the pool bath, right? No,
Right.
it's exactly right. So then there's the big A architecture, which is when you've solved all the little a stuff. Now you can start to like talk about what's there. Now, there are architecture schools out there that don't talk about space, that don't talk about the relationship of what happens inside a building, because it's all about the expression of the S word or the big A word, right? It's all about trend, or it's all about like the how do we push the envelope? It's the ego. It's the thing that is the celebration of what it is. And to me, I mean, modernism, like the idea of like pure kind of high level modernism, there is talk about space, but it's not really, it's about the organization of it, not the necessarily, you stand at the bottom of the spiral at the Guggenheim, that space is like no other space in the world, right? Frank Lloyd Wright designed that as a space and an experience. And so you can't stand at the bottom of the Guggenheim and then go to the High Museum in Atlanta, and you can't make a reference to go, you know what, Richard Meyer was influenced by the Guggenheim because the experience of walking down the High Museum,
similar.
it's similar. There's a ramp that goes down the exterior perimeter of the High Museum that can't happen without the understanding of the Guggenheim, because that is an experience about seeing the art. And it's just those two things.
Which also then came from old world European, things from the Renaissance and masters. Right. It's all, the good design is all a copy of something done.
That's exactly. It's self-referential for sure. So the idea of space, to me, the juice to architecture is in the section, the building envelope experience, like the idea of how the layers of a space are organized. That's what makes it unique. That's, to me, is where the uniqueness of how you are inside the building, how your living space is, and then how you're related to the pool. Those, to me, that's next level choreographed.
And I wouldn't. Pool to
experience.
me is I bristle every time you say pool, because pool is the wrong term. It's the exterior space. Like the pool is the
but you're just
the
talking,
minor
but we
element
talk
of the
about
pool.
the outside,
The outdoor living element,
the backyard.
I know the
But
exterior
what about
space,
the whole front, and my question is like, do you, when you're doing the house, do you think about the front yard? Do you think about the driveway?
Oh,
absolutely. Do you think about the approach? Is that
approach.
taught?
Yes.
I know
yeah.
The arrival sequence.
Like when you're going to have this experience when you drive up the driveway and how the lighting is, the tree placement, and all that. Do they teach that in architecture school?
So it depends. I mean, it depends on your program. I mean, I say program being.
Oh, if you go to Yale.
Yeah. Well,
if
you go to Kansas State,
you can phone that in. But so I make that. I talk about it all the time, and it's a 50-cent word. I kind of refer to it as the architectural promenade, right? It's the experience of what it's like to walk from point A to point B, and it's what does that look like? I mean, I'm doing a project now that's on 20-something acres in Leapersburg, and they're where the house sits on the dirt. How do you approach from the drive? They have a porte cochere. Where are the guests going to park? What's the front door look like? All of those things are important. Some of that cue comes from the client, but also some of it comes from like, hey, what are we doing out here? What is this? You don't get that opportunity on an infill site in Nashville.
Correct.
That's
you
not
don't have the whole approach.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's important where the front door is, but it's less of kind of a what's the right word?
Derivative.
Or derivative, or a directive that is kind of informed by the topography or the site. Sometimes this is an open site, but I mean, it's a wooded site. Are you kind of going through a narrow kind of situations, and all of a sudden
open it up?
Yeah, right, exactly. Deliberate. That's.
But
the
I
word.
think up
Deliberate.
until like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, it stopped at the back of the house.
So architecture, and this is a good point, and it's one I really kind of wanted to dive into. Good call. To me, like architects from ever on until maybe about, let's just say 2015, 10 years ago, give or take, we're like, all we care about, this is our outside opinion of an architect, all we care about is the structure itself. We don't give a shit about the outside, anything other than just the walls. We get inside of it, and that's it. Yeah. You know, the what it looks like from the outside, and then what's inside is all that mattered. And then all of a sudden, and I went to the IBS show, the International Building Show, like in 2017, I think, and I saw it was like this. It was sort of eye-opening. It was the first time I went to something not pool-related show, and it was like totally eye-opening to see all these different perspectives and views and different designers and different architects.
I think I went in 18. I think I went the year after that. Yeah.
And there was whole classes about where everything is headed is outside, and how the next generation is coming in is bringing in this concept of, we really care about the environment and really care about community, and we care about, spending time with others and exterior space, and how outdoor can we start to bring that in? Yeah. And it just opened my eyes. It's like we are, and you start to see like with the California room, what was labeled forever ago, which is that big open, the big open door, the big the courtyard, the nano door, the whatever that's opening. That's now it's like every state has a Tennessee room, a Connecticut room, whatever. It's all versions of everything about architecture of the house now is turning towards the exterior. Yeah. But who is designing the exterior? And that's the big unknown. Yeah. Is it architects?
No, I mean, I would say that roughly about the timeline that you're talking about. I think the accessibility to products like NanoWall or double sliders or pocketing doors.
Open that thing wide open.
Yeah. That the big joke in architecture school was my design concept is the tension between inside and outside. And I'm like, that is a tension that has been happening since cathedrals. Yes. Inside the building and outside of the building. It's like, okay, that's nothing new. Yeah. That is, you have a building, you're going to have that. And so I think it's like
we're going to have outside.
Yeah, we're going to have an inside, and we're going to have an outside.
There's both sides.
It's like, that's
you can't get inside without being outside.
That's right. And so, and I think that part of that relationship of inside and outside, with the advent of these large doors, or the relationship of making spaces inside and outside that are more easily transferable back and forth, these big doors became kind of a big influence to what that's like. I mean, in my architectural styles class, I talk about, the California ranch as an idea of like the courtyard.
That's wonderful.
That which was this idea that was driven by the dimension of the lot, that you could then choreograph what that interior
and still
space
have privacy.
is.
Yeah,
that's right. Right. And so in the idea now, I mean, now we're on 5-acre lots, and we're trying to then choreograph what that courtyard is like, maybe with site walls and exterior living spaces.
It doesn't have to be contained within the architecture of the house.
That's right. Right. It's something that then you put something out in the yard that is, maybe it's a gazebo, or maybe it's a outdoor kitchen, or maybe it's a guest house, or maybe it's a pool house, or, those are the things that then help create that
enclosure.
That's right. So for your comment before, I'm not designing the water shape. I'm designing all of the elements that are around the water shape. So that becomes my influence of like, how does that space work, right? What are the things that we then choreograph in the backyard to then allow for that space to be successful?
I've never heard an architect say that, though.
Yeah.
I've never heard it before.
Well,
it's always the driveway to the house, and it stops.
Well, and I think
that's what's changed. But that's what's great.
No.
But
it is great.
But that becomes, because you're focused on everything on the outside, like all the way around, and how it all ties together.
Well, and
then the pool is the negative space.
Well, and I would say, from a person, like, from my opportunity, this industry has allowed me to then be able to explore that, because I've been invited into that conversation. I mean, because of Jason.
It's all his fault. It's all his fault.
It's all his fault.
He's
Everything
so
is all my
wonderful.
fault.
No, it is.
So
right.
appropriate.
So I'm glad sometimes it's your fault, not mine. Anyway,
It is
it's
all-
like-
it is all your fault.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the challenge with my industry or with any industry is the idea of something that's siloed. And it's like, oh, this is this person's responsibility. This is this person's responsibility. This is another person's responsibility. Kind of like a little bit I was talking about before about an engineer. And if you're siloed, I'm not going to talk to this person over here. That's their responsibility.
It's not my problem.
That's a very good point.
Well, and what happens is this is I think where Jason was talking about earlier, where to me, it's about a conversation.
Work together, yeah.
It's a conversation, right?
Totally.
It's a collaboration of that relationship. And anybody who's taken any one of my 1-hour sessions or my 8-hour sessions or the 16-hour ones, that I have this little paradigm where it talks about, the client's up at the top, and you have these two different disparate conditions. One is the contractor, one is the architect or the designer. That paradigm exists everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's a coffee store or if it's a Boeing 747 or it's somebody's backyard. Somebody's paying for a design to be done,
And construction
and
to be
then
built.
somebody's going to be executing it, right? If the two,
It's a circle.
It should work as a circle, but it doesn't because the relationship between the designer
boom.
and the contractor there's no money that exchanges.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, it's all comes from the top, and if the two that are underneath the owner, if those two at the bottom don't get along, who suffers the most? The person
The
at the
owner.
top.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that collaboration component, if that is unsuccessful, we all fail because
It's a really good. That's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
Because-
that is a
Mhm.
that's like
That's gold.
That's gold.
Well,
No, it really is. That right there is gold.
Well, and it's because
That right there is gold.
because
Yeah.
this is what it is. So the whole time after
No,
that,
it totally is.
It's his fault
Yeah. No,
because I drew it. I drew it. Chad didn't build it the way I drew it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And if it was more of a situation of like, oh, okay, Chad. Well, between you and me, I was thinking of it more like this.
And you're the builder. Why don't you just let me do my thing?
Well, no,
That'd be
it's
great.
more along
That'd be great.
the lines of like, hey, Chad, this is what I was thinking. You did this. Maybe we can figure out a way.
I totally agree.
Because in the end, if we both bring problems to the client,
Working out an outdoor kitchen issue.
And we
Yeah.
worked it out.
It's-
There we
and
go.
it was good.
I tell clients all the time, if
At
we
the end
can,
of the day, she benefits.
Someone's happy.
Yeah.
that's right. I mean, if it's a situation where we're all pointing fingers and we're all bringing problems to the client, guess who's going to be frustrated?
We all are, except for everybody.
That's right. But if we can
But
bring
really, the client.
if that's
Yeah.
right. But if we can bring solutions to the client, hey, I talked to Chad. We've got this situation that's developed on site. Keyword,
Yep.
developed on site. I didn't say, well, because
Chad,
His drawing plans were bad. Those plans suck.
Chad
That's
Chad F this up. And so, but hey,
No, this is a huge conversation. This right here. This whole point is It's massive.
And,
It's so
and I'll
important.
take it one more thing. If you can do it on site with the client
And work through issues together
They
as
love
one. And me not throw Chad under the bus and Chad not throw me under the bus.
Yeah.
And silently we're going, I know I messed this, I screwed this up a little bit. I know it. He knows it too, but he's not throwing me under the bus and I can go to him. So I know this wasn't exactly the way it was designed, but it's still, we'll do that. But we can go with that homeowner and say, we're on the same team and
That's huge.
here's our solution based on this. We do that a lot.
We do that a lot. Yep.
And it's never this, well, that guy screwed it up. Oh, well.
well, but I mean, one of the things that I, as all part of this, we've never done this pool before.
No,
Never done this water shape before.
art.
I've never
It's
designed
art.
this house
Yeah,
before.
totally.
And so if we can go back there and go be like, okay, I'm not omniscient, right? I don't know all of the intricacies of what this design is in relationship to the outdoor living space, to the pool, to the outdoor, we got to figure this stuff out, right? It's going to be how gracious can you get from design, concept, execution, construction, and in the end, have them back there splashing about. And if we can do that where we're all together going, what I say to my clients, the best environment is when a contractor will call me and go, "Hey, Paul, I'm looking at page XYZ."
You're looking at my
read the
drawings?
Yes,
That's a great idea.
That's like, holy cow, they're not in the truck.
I know. I'll show you what this plan's good for.
Yeah, that's right.
You got a toilet around here.
Listen, in my world, they commonly refer to them as the funny papers.
Yes.
So it's like, it's
the funnies.
Yeah. So
that kind of ages us, guys.
Do you know what? To that point, I'm going to derail for just a second. I've started doing, and it's a big thing for me now. That point when you get a set of plans out there, and a typical set of plans, who are you designing as a designer, as an architect, or as a landscape architect, or engineer for? It's not for the owner. It's not for the even the boss. It's for the guys actually building the project on site.
Yeah.
And how many times do the guys actually on site actually read the plans? And it's rare.
So I have a little like a joke.
Yeah.
So that when I go out onto job sites, I commonly try to document where they stash my the drawings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if I go out on a job site and they're pristine, then
no one's
looked at it.
It's I'm like I suddenly kind of get perked up because I'm like, okay, I've got to figure out what's going on here, because invariably, if the drawings are too pristine,
no one's looked at them.
Nobody has looked at them, or no one understands exactly what's going on. And what I typically do on that first situation where I'm out there on the job site and there's, I will, we'll be very gracious clients there or whatever, and then the clients will leave, and then I'll pull the contractor off to the side and I'll be like, "Hey, pal, we're going to go back through this, and we're going to kind of we're going to fix the things, or we're going to adjust the things that you've missed.
Right.
I'm going to give you a bit of a mulligan here."
Mm-hmm.
So that you only get one mulligan.
Yeah, then it's like, and then it depends on how that conversation goes, right? If it goes sour really quickly, I'm like, "You're on your own, pal."
Yep. Good luck.
Good luck. Well, it's a situation where it's like, "Hey, we got to work together here," because invariably, I don't want there to be sharp objects pointing at each other at the end of this process.
No, it helps absolutely nobody.
No one wins in that case.
Nope.
So we all know that when attorneys get involved, everybody loses.
Yeah.
Everybody loses, except for
the
attorney.
The attorney.
That's right.
And so, I mean, it's a situation where it's like it's just no fun. And
Paulo
wins.
Yeah.
Yes.
Paulo and the lawyer.
Which is also the attorney, because he's the expert witness for the attorney. So
there you go.
So there's only two winners.
One thing I've started doing on that, and I think it's great, and we'll see how it really works in field, but I've started taking all of my details, because everyone's got the same standard CAD details and whatever. They're 2D, isometric, not even isometric, and no one looks at them. But I've started making all of my details 3D isometrics.
Yeah.
And really drawing them up and make them graphically interesting as well. And people actually want to read the details.
Well,
then.
I mean, so here's the $1 million question. It's just like that detail, like who has the aptitude to be able to comprehend the detail?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a 3D representation makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, there are the aptitude of, I mean, this gets to what you guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Who's out there? Yeah.
They're not college degreed.
They're not college degreed.
No.
They can't look 30,000 feet up here.
Yeah, they don't understand the big picture.
Yeah, they don't. They don't get that.
When I transitioned out of from academia back into practice, I went and worked for a small architecture firm. And in that small firm that I was working at, I spent a short time back in North Carolina, and then before I moved to Nashville, and I was there, and I was working on a project that had already gone through CDs that I was kind of going to help shepherd. And there are these guys that are out in rural North Carolina that are I mean, massive package of drawings or whatever. These guys didn't know how to read.
Literally.
No, they don't know how to read.
Yeah.
Like
not the drawings. Read. Yeah.
Okay. So here is a group of people that are literally winging it. And it's not even it's not a language barrier. It's a fundamental kind of like, it's a 2 steps back from, hey, this is the way my grandpa did it. This is the way my dad did it. This is the way I'm going to do it.
2 or 3 steps
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
back.
for sure.
Well, it also, I mean, let's be honest. A lot of the workers out there are Hispanic these days. It's not just what we had before. But that's why the 3D doesn't even have to have anything on it. It's like it needs to look like that
start
picture.
to see it.
For sure. Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, and
but
I
they
think,
still have to have the drawings have to be a little bit dirty.
So for sure,
Right?
Well, they need to not be in the truck.
They
They need to not be in the
use them.
truck. Yeah, that's right. Yes, they need not to be in the truck.
And print them in color.
Yeah.
That's what I do like.
Well,
these,
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, that's a water line.
Oh,
It's blue.
and the plumbing. I've got each plumbing line is its own system
And
and
they're
its
9
own
inches
color,
apart.
and they're saving $8 by printing it out in black and white, and no one
It's
can read
not
it.
8. It's a couple of hundred, but that's okay.
Same thing. Whatever. In the scheme of things.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that the pictures, they're important.
They are.
Yeah.
And here's the part that's the most important is that client made an incredible investment
Based off those pictures.
based off of those pictures.
Uh-huh.
And if whomever is building that discounts all of that, they flush that investment out the window.
No, you're absolutely right. They don't look at the 2D.
Well,
They look at the presentation.
well, and
for
we
sure.
and I make this joke all the time. It's like you can invest a 5-digit sum on a design. Okay, you can invest in this design, and your weakest link is the trade that's going to
It's out
install
there.
it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and
which one are you getting?
and right, and it's going to be like, well, pardon the expression. Well, I can save you about $5,000 if we just do this.
Yeah. That's a horrible place to save money.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden,
But they
a
don't see the
$5,000 is going to undermine a 5-digit, investment that just goes out the window. Like the tile guy is going to be like, "Hey man, I can listen. I can get you this.
Totally agree.
Listen, you could go return all that stuff, and I'll get you this, and it'll be way
It's
cheaper.
gonna be fine.
Yeah, my buddy Bubba, he's going to get
got
you a
it.
good deal.
So that's actually one of the classes we're working on for Elevate. It goes into the construction process. Not our goal is not to say here's how to build it all, but the processes you do and the communications between the trades and how to make sure everyone stays on the same page.
Yeah.
And goes through that and how to, use like what kind of your processes you use of using pictures and videos and saving them and sharing them between each other and, having these constant, job site things. But one of the biggest things we've done is have meetings at the beginning of projects with the team
Here at the office.
And bring in the plumbers.
Bring in the plumbers
excavator
and
show
guys.
the whole thing. Just like you're presenting it to the client, we're going to show it to the team and show this is what the end vision is.
You know what they call that in the industry?
Badass.
Well, yes, a pre-construction meeting.
Well, it's more of a design meeting.
Well,
Yeah.
it is a design meeting, but in the sense of like, hey, I mean, I have a couple builders that was like, hey, we're going to sit with the client. The client will sit there as part of a pre-con meeting and then let them listen to how the sausage gets made.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Here's your team. And here's
your
how we
team.
communicate.
This is how we're going to talk, and it's going to start now before a shovel of dirt's moved. And then we're gonna continue. Just so you know, this is gonna happen all the way through the process. You're not gonna see all of it.
Whether you're there
I haven't thought bring the client into that meeting.
we've never done that.
That's a
It's a great little
ding light bulb.
that was perfect.
Very good.
Ding 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 ding.
That's very smart.
Well,
And
I
they
mean,
can see the
because
game from-
then what it also does is it onboards the client to go, hey, you know what? Look,
I trust my team.
look at this conversation that's happening about the weeds
That's a great.
that we're gonna get
That's a
into.
great point.
And you're also then not getting the pushback from the, whatever, from the guys out there doing it because the client's there and they're going to be more, whatever. And
Well, I mean, it
you
just
may then meet.
You hope so.
Depends on your team, I guess. But
yeah, but I mean, it what it does is
maybe you
it,
should fire some people beforehand, but whatever.
well, what it also does, so just let's talk about it from a business standpoint. It also understands that later on, from my perspective, if I send an invoice for 5 hours worth of time, during construction.
They know that was
they know that that's a legitimate. Well, okay. There's a safety net in that process of what it's like.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
It's not just my time; it's everyone. It's all this time. So it's all my team's
they're
time.
also like-
and we're all on this, and we're
I'm looking at sheet A, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?
Mm-hmm. So
That's good stuff.
very good.
Yeah.
I know. So. Is there anything kind of bigger picture, kind of wrap it out? You tend to start your classes 30,000 feet and then go down. We're kind of, been there, but let's pick it back up. Where do you see, in the spirit of like innovate or die, where do you see the pool industry going? Is there anything that you kind of have as your...
Well, I think to me, the next realm of outdoor living, outdoor experience is value add.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we've gone transition from backyard retreat to now what are next level components to the backyard, meaning wellness, longevity. What are the benefits to the things that we then invest 6 figures, 7 figures in our backyard? What are the things that then not just become like, hey, I've got this, that. I mean, it's what are the things that become
20 by 40.
Yeah,
dimensional pools.
that's right.
But nothing's sexier than a pool you can describe by
that's right.
dimension.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So Pebble Tech. No, it's it's like
This one's got stones in the middle of it.
Yeah. And the warranty
I've got
is
15
15
years
years.
in mine. But I mean, but I think of it as value add. Like, what is that next level of
I
It's
call
the
it
design.
experiential.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
Mhm.
Is it cold plunge? Is it hot sauna? Is it outdoor? Are you gonna do some sort of wellness component to your backyard living experience?
Almost every job I do now has a cold plunge.
Yeah.
That is separate from the hot tub because
Yeah.
nothing's better than going in
Yeah.
a cold plunge and then getting out and jumping in the
Having
the
a heart
spot.
attack.
So,
It's gonna be great.
I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. Or
I'm a
a
cold
sauna
plunge guy,
or a
so-
sauna
Yeah, I
component or
Mhm.
salt bath or salt, sound acoustic. There's all kinds of things that now become, a part of what the backyard experience is.
Have y'all designed a salt room?
I was researching it last week.
We have we have a client in Nashville that and he's
The Himalayan
he's
salts.
older.
Yeah. Mhm.
But they have an indoor pool,
Mhm.
an outdoor pool, an outdoor spa. I mean, just the whole
Yeah.
it just keeps going on. But then you have the salt room,
Mhm.
and he's got salt everywhere on the walls, the ceiling,
Backlit.
backlit.
Yeah.
It's all over. It's like a beach of salt, and then he's got his little beach chair right there, and he just sits there for an hour a day and just basks in the salt.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, and
You don't
I mean,
see that very much.
Well, no,
You know?
that's definitely an external kind of condition typically, but that is a resort type experience that's brought into the home.
Mhm.
The other one is now acoustic. So there's acoustic, sound bath kind of level experiences in the
It's got just
backyard.
a dead.
No, it's an acoustic environment that then gets like sounds get projected into the backyard that is, acoustic masking for what happens in the backyard. So, I mean, that's
Tell me more.
have you guys not heard
I
of
have
No,
not heard
I'm
this.
not. This is new
this
too.
is new to me.
So have you ever heard of a sound bath? You know what a sound bath is?
I don't.
Okay, so you've heard of people that are that meditate.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a kind of a inwardly focused kind of experience. Well, there's sound baths that you can go to where you would go to it like a yoga experience or whatever, and then there is a person that orchestrates a sound bath moment where they tonal sounds. You go and you basically lie on a mat, and then you let those sounds wash over your body. Sometimes they'll put stones, or it's a mind therapy. Okay,
So not to bastardize it, but not like you get a massage and you've got the sound and the whole
Yeah.
thing.
but
But
this is
just the actual.
There's just sound. There's
Yes.
no physical touching of any
Yeah,
sort.
but it's the audible
it's an audible experience.
relaxation.
Yeah. So but there you can do that acoustically through a speaker system that then goes through
Yeah.
your backyard,
Mm-hmm.
and it creates a soundscape that then allows you to transform what about your backyard experience is.
I've played with acoustic design as far as water features and the sound water makes, and that's a super important. The different sounds they play in, but I haven't done it. It's I guess not dissimilar to that idea of like a white noise, but it's an enjoyable white noise in the background constantly. If
That's
you don't.
right. So you used your 50-cent word earlier. What was the word that you used?
50 cent.
It's
50 cent.
50
It's
cents.
50 cents.
It's $10, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And I
$10.
forgot which one.
So I make the comment
Yes.
oftentimes that my dollar word is phenomenological. So
that's an impressive word.
Yeah. So phenomenological. Is
That's funny.
is a sensory experience that we cannot silo. We can't separate any of our senses. You can't isolate one sense, and that you feel and walk through the world, absorbing and experiencing something all simultaneously. You can't just focus on just smell, or you can't do sight, or you can't do touch. It's all going to be at some point
coming in at you at once,
all at once. And so the idea that you can try to, like, a hyperbaric chamber or what are the
disassociate to one sense.
what are the things that you float in?
The salt bath,
Inner
the Dead
tube?
Sea bath,
No.
God, you're a redneck.
Okay, Chad.
All right, can he leave?
Yes.
Freaking tire tubes, bro. Down the river.
Is it from a John Deere or is it an internet source?
What kind of tubes you got in this place?
Yeah.
Sorry.
What is that called? I can't even think of it now.
Float therapy. Float,
yes, exactly.
Salt
yeah.
like salt.
Yeah, because it's a
float tank.
Yeah, float tank, sensory deprivation chamber.
Yes.
That's basically.
Have you done one of those?
I have not done.
I have done one.
I have done it too.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I
it's
couldn't
not
turn
something.
my mind off. I couldn't stop. I was like,
I turned
okay.
my mind off.
I couldn't get.
I didn't need to go back though.
Well, I did it, so I had to do an MRI, and an MRI. It's it's a kind of similar situation, but it's like you can hear your own heartbeat, which is a little bit. That's just basically
something's like tick, tick.
Yeah.
Is it beating too fast? Why am I beating fast? If I think
Yeah,
something
that's
wrong,
right,
is something wrong?
Because you're gonna die. You're about to die.
I'm in here because something's not right. What is not right? Am I going to die?
If I blink my eyes, it's just going to ruin everything.
Anxiety.
It's going to ruin everything. So everything's about to go to hell.
Am I ever going to leave this chamber? It's just my tomb.
Yeah, I got to do it twice because I moved.
That's like, damn it!
That's the worst feeling.
Yeah. But anyway, so you can take this idea of an acoustic environment. Is this kind of, obviously we have our physical things that we often do, but there is an acoustic component that has also become
the senses that's actually the core of my advanced design class that I teach, and I'm about to teach it in a month. So I'm excited. I hadn't taught it in a while.
Yeah,
but that's the main thing is and I had a project in it's like 2017, 2018 when it finished, and it was I'm at this space and it's all done, and I couldn't leave. Like I had a flight the next morning. I needed to go to the hotel, whatever. I just could not make myself leave. Why is something so drawn, this visceral draw that you just don't want to leave?
Yeah.
And that drew me into about 5-year research hard into why this is. Why did something? I've had other projects that were nice and good and okay, I'm out. Whatever. What is it that makes that visceral connection that draws you in and sucks you in and makes it that special? And to me, the answer to that was the way your physical senses touch the natural elements. And the more you can have earth, wind, fire, water touch your sight, your sound, your smell, your touch, your feel, all of the things, those connections blended together. Oh, I mean, it's almost unexplainable.
Yeah.
But that makes a world of difference in the experience, in the experiential.
Well, and in my industry, we're seeing it as biophilic design.
I love biophilic.
And now there's next level stuff with this salutogenic design, which is this idea of access to materiality of things, that we need to be kind of more fundamental with those particular elements, and those things there is a connection to what those elements are. If we can keep things as, I don't want to use the word processed, but they're less manipulated, that we have a connection to what those elements are.
Earthy.
I don't want to use the word primal, but it is fundamental.
It is.
It is fundamental. You know, I mean,
Earth, wind, fire, water.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's take it down to the like food. You know, the best foods now are brought down to all we have is just the basic equipment materials to it.
Yeah. And I think that's I mean, it is a condition that we need to be aware of, as like not only just from a building choice selection, but it does have an impact on how we are as people. You know, I mean, it's like what are those things and how they affect our body, right? I mean, we live in a hyper manipulated environment versus maybe not even 100 years ago. You know, the environments that we lived in were less manipulated. I mean, they were kind of more fundamental. You know, we talk about the building envelope as something that is a hyper-engineered envelope. I mean, there are buildings that were built in the 1800s that are still perfectly like standing and living because we didn't complicate it. I mean, moisture and everything doesn't get trapped. Air moves through it. It breathes.
You thought through the basics on day one and handle all those.
Yeah. Physics becomes something that's kind of fundamental.
Wow. This has been a good.
No, this last segment's been.
I know. I'm excited. Just
I think
I've got some takeaways.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
Yes, I know.
Look how much he's taught us.
I know. Well, I mean,
This guy.
he's kind of a.
That's
He's
because they
kind
had
of
a
a smart
second
guy
bourbon.
and a good. I know.
It was the pecan and the smoke.
It was. Listen,
It was.
my takeaway big time. You know, I'm going to go get one of those from the old.
You know what, Paul? You deserve it.
That's right. You deserve
It's
it.
a little Jack Handy, you know, like gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it. People like me.
That's right.
Because you're good enough, you're smart enough.
Gosh
And
dang
by
it.
gosh, yeah, people like you.
That's right.
God, there's a whole collection of people out there.
They're like, what are you talking about?
No idea what hardly anyone that watches
Saturday
this.
Night Live. What is that?
Never
Right,
heard of her.
exactly.
I know. Never met her.
Exactly.
Never
We're not
met her.
Pete Davidson. Let me get a tattoo on my face. Please flame out on social media. My 3 followers will unfollow me.
And you'll be free again. It's gonna be
That's right. It's liberating.
It's totally okay.
Well, Paul, this has been a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And you are a lot of fun, and I appreciate the you sitting down with us and talking. You know, well, anytime we talk, it's just a conversation, and that's what makes it great.
Yeah,
So,
we pick up right where we left off and keep going.
I know. Well, we've been working together for damn near a decade, and let's do another decade more. So,
I'm excited that we get to do Glasgow 2.0.
I know. Yeah, a whole nother project coming
That's right.
up again.
Go to that barbecue joint. It's right down the street.
I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. And I went there with Ruth always.
Oh, there you go.
Good old Ruth.
Yeah,
Sure enough.
yeah.
Oh,
Good deal.
good deal.
Well, I think is anything
Well,
else
thank you,
have?
Paul. We appreciate it. No, I'm
No,
good.
listen. Hey,
It was
I
great.
appreciate it. This is, as always, it's a great opportunity for us to chit chat.
And thanks
Talk with-
everyone out there for listening and listening to us talk and laugh and go from there. And appreciate you, joining in and if you can hit the like button and subscribe button, and let's keep this keep our thing going.
Because it matters.
because apparently it matters. I'm
It
told.
matters.
So,
So, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you both, gentlemen.
It was
Had a
great.
Cheers.
good time. Cheers.
I'm empty-handed.
That's right.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
this
I
guy
know.
has a
I'm
nipple
weak.
on the top.
Well, I hadn't.
We hadn't eaten in 6
I hadn't
weeks.
eaten in 3 days. So I've got
He went from 720 pounds to 270 pounds.
We'll just call him Jason Roll.
Jason Roll. That's right.
Jelly roll, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We really appreciate it. We know how busy your schedule is being builders and designers in the industry. So you being here is really important to us. So thank you.
And if you don't mind, go down there and hit like and subscribe on there. It makes a huge difference for us. It shows that you're interested in what we have to offer and what we're trying to make this industry become.
That's right. We want to spread the message to designers and builders and pool pros to help everybody else out in the industry.
And if you will also go to our website, elevatepoolpros.com, and see all the great content we have there as well.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.